Welcome to Elmar's ecosystem.
It's an ecosystem. Everything is connected.
It's an amazing experience.
Okay, I'm here with Abdul Jacobs. He's gonna replace me here at Marion Island. He's gonna be the ecologist for M82. And I was the ecologist for M81. So yeah, I'm just gonna start by asking you, what was your expectations, before you came here? Because you've been here now for, how long have you been here now? It's 20 days.
Something like that.
20 days, yeah. So what was your expectations before that 20 days? And then, how has it unfolded?
What sort of expectations?
Yeah, before you came here, what did you expect the island's going to be like?
I actually thought the weather was gonna be worse than I've experienced. But I don't know. You hear a lot of stories. I guess everyone's experiences that they came, and you don't know anything until you get here. So I did try to limit my expectations a lot. In fact, I prepared for the worst. So everything was like the worst case scenario. You know what I mean? Like the weather is gonna be worse than I think I would be able to manage. The people would be worse than I expected them to be. All of that stuff. And even with that, I was still sort of confident with coming here, positive with coming here, because I knew why I wanted to come here. So I was sort of like, well, if I'm set in my mind, then I feel like the rest will fall in place. To each his own. So yeah, I guess my expectations was that there was going to be a lot of physicality, a lot of field work, not a lot of lab work, which is what I thought, and that obviously I would have to go around the island a couple of times and do a lot of work, like that, field work, field science.
You're gonna do that a lot.
Yeah. So that's what I was expecting, and I also want to do. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Let's just say limit my expectations as well, in terms of what this is, what this experience is, because everyone talks about coming to Marion Island, but like I told another colleague of mine that I met through some other field work, that the only way you can get to Marion Island is by working here. So it's a job also, obviously, first and foremost, and then you are on Marion Island, kind of thing. So that was also something I sort of put in my mind, that this is not just go out, explore, have a great time, which you can do, obviously, but that the work, it's actually
balance.
work, it's first work, and then you're on Marion freaking Island, so... Anyway, I don't know if I really answered much of the question.
No, I think you did. I actually think you answered perfectly.
Okay.
I think my expectations was quite the same, actually. I got here to the island. But yeah, just to continue with what you said, I also wanted to come here to explore, but you have to come here and you have to work. It's not a holiday. It's actually a lot of work, and it takes a lot of physical and mental strength to go through it, and you get stronger every day. I struggled a lot at the start. I know it doesn't look like that that I struggle anymore out in the field, but I struggled a lot. The weather and the cold. I think the cold was the worst for me. But it's more like a combination of wet and cold. That's the problem.
That gets me.
That's the thing that gets you. If it was dry and cold, I think I would have been fine. I think it's the wet and cold that really fucks you up. But anyway. So
I think it's more the wet and the wind, not so much the cold. I feel like the temperature doesn't matter. It's how bad the wind is with the wet.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
It's with the wet. If the wind's not blowing, it's also
it's
usually a nice day.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Even
though the degrees, the temperature's in the single digits, you don't really notice that. Doesn't really matter.
Because you have your layers on, so you're fine in that sense. But the wind and the wet is cold. Yeah, but how was your experience so far, you would say, these 20 days? Obviously,
so far?
Super surreal.
It was great, honestly. I told you this already personally, but thank you so much. I really had such a good time. I think, coming in, I was a bit nervous. I don't try to think too much. I try to tend to be in the moment, you know what I mean? So it's sometimes you think about all the expectations you had building up, and now you're here, and sort of just I have to just do what I have to be doing right now, kind of thing. So a lot of it hasn't settled in, especially the living on the island, and granted takeover is not technically finished yet, so there's still a lot of people, and when everyone leaves, like that's a, you know, different team dynamic there. Sorry, I digress from the point, but how did I
Doesn't
find the
matter.
experience so far? But yeah, so far my experience from the island has been great, and I think like the way we introduced it as well, like where at the beginning we didn't do like too much, you know what I mean? Like we
Yes.
sort of just went around base a little bit more, get a feel for it, and then after the round island, I felt very very confident. Like
Yeah.
like the next day, I think like when it settled in, I was just like, damn, like it's
You can do
I
it.
can do this. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think what it was is more just like, I'm not saying there's not going to be challenges. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's more just like, oh, you know, because it's not just a physical game, it's a mental game as well. You know, so it's just
Yes.
about how well you were able to endure mentally as well, emotionally and all of that kind of stuff. But when I came back, I was like, okay, I got a sense of the island, a sense of the type of terrain, a sense of like the weather, a sense of like what actually like the challenges of working out there would be, right? So like, you want to do this work, how possible is it to do that work? You know, what's the time frame, because you need to go from here to there, or like that's another thing. It's like the walking, like you said,
Yeah.
everything is walking everywhere, right? So it's like that takes time and
That
getting
takes
used to that.
time.
And but yeah, I had a great time, honestly.
I'm
And even the
glad.
people here, it was nice. As long as everyone's here, I think it's been
That's
going
great,
well. Because some people have that sense of like, okay, come guys, like let's wrap it up. I'm feeling that now, like not that I'm trying to rush people away, so to say, but more just like you're sort of sitting in this in between, like
Yes.
it's almost they're almost leaving, but not yet, and
Yeah,
you know.
I can remember. I had
so-
exactly the same feeling about this
Yeah.
time. You're like, you're a bit agitated because it's not. It's just like all this delays and all this weird stuff going on. People busy packing and it's, you know what? When people pack around you, you get this this weird sense like, oh, this
Something's
agitated.
up, yeah.
Yeah, something's up. It's really like that.
Really
Or like when you move out of somewhere, you know, when you move out of a house or a room. Even when I moved out my room, you get that feeling of, oh, I'm gonna miss this place. It feels like you're leaving something behind, you know, a part of your life. It's interesting. Even just to move from one room here, it felt like that for me. But usually it's like when you move out of a house or something, it feels like that. But yeah, I'm glad to hear you had a great time,
Yeah.
and I'm glad you got confidence.
Yeah.
That means my orientation worked.
Yeah, amazing, 100%. Honestly,
Because I planned it like that. I wanted to be not go full out at the start. I don't feel that's a good way of preparing someone for this. You're just gonna scare them. Yeah, and the other methods other people do here, like the sealers, they also just throw them in the dark sometimes. I'm not one of those people. I don't like doing that. You don't want to throw people in the dark. Okay, cool, you want people to be strong and like courageous, but it's like you need to build people's confidence slowly and steady. You know? It's not an instant thing.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. When I came back, I also felt like confident. It's not just like, oh, I did the thing. It's like I
Yeah.
felt like I learned a lot along the way. Felt like you said, we were eased into it nicely, and I built my confidence through that process, instead of it like beating me down and coming back like feeling like defeated. Like I
Yeah.
felt actually coming back feeling like, now okay, like something can start. You know what I mean? Like whereas at the beginning it was sort of like this, like you said, like this nervous, frantic energy of like, I need to get this, do this. What you know, I need to learn that, and you know, try to remember this name and that thing, and what's this
Yeah.
copy. And then at the end of it, I was just like, you know what? Okay, I don't know every copy. I
No,
don't
you're
know,
not gonna-
you know, right now, but
You're gonna get it.
I'll get it. Like
You'll
I
get
feel
it.
confident in like getting there.
Yeah, no, I had the same feeling as well for that. It's quite interesting. Like people last year also showed me all the copies and all the beaches. You're like, yeah, I can't even remember. And when you go back to that beach, you're like, I feel like I've seen
Been
this
there,
before.
yeah.
I can't remember exactly, but that's gonna happen a lot. You're gonna go to somewhere and you're gonna be like, this looks familiar, but I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly when I was here.
Yeah.
And then later on, you get to see the island so much, you're like, you know where everything is later on. But even though you spend a year here on the island, you think you can see everything, but no, it's impossible. You can't see everything. Like, obviously you have to balance the work and the play. And some of the places, if you want to see everything, you're going to have to go play. And to play here is walking like 6 hours somewhere.
Yeah.
And then to go explore a bit. That is like the only way you're going to see the whole island. The other only way is like if your work is like set out in different places. That's why I was so excited to see that you have a round island work, which is nice, because then you see more of the island. You get the opportunity, like when you walk from one hut to another, for instance, you can make a detour.
Mhm.
That's what I used to do, you know, to see some parts of the island
Mhm.
that you can't see during your work. But if you have a work around the island, you can also make detours and you can zigzag a bit. It's always nice to go out and see what's there to find. You know, there's a lot of weird shit on this island.
It's funny how maybe I'm still a bit close to base when I was exploring a bit more confidently, but like it's funny to see the different paths that emerge now out of not an official path. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's like there'll be like this official path, and then I'll clearly wandered off the path clearly.
And then you find a random path.
And then you find a random path, and you're like, so this is like all the people who got lost, and then they also like walked this path, and
that's
they came
a possibility,
back.
Or it's like a birder path where
or
they
something,
look for a burrow or something like that.
Yeah.
And it just pops up at certain spots.
Yeah, it's like crazy. So, and I think about how you say like everything's slow here. So you see, you sort of see that trampling, like someone was here, like, you know.
Yeah.
So
like my trampling, I can't remember if I showed you. I didn't because it was hailing and I was walking too fast. But just here, where is it now? I can look out the window here. I think it's just, where is it now? After Skua Ridge. When you go up to Hoppy's Hell, there's like this mire with the liverwort, Blefaride film, and I stepped in that mire on purposely, like just with my feet in July to see how long it will take, like to, you know, restore to its original position. It's still there. It still looks, it looks a little bit better, but it still looks like a footprint, like my footprint. It's crazy. That's like in July. That's almost a year ago. So I think the trampling, especially on the mires, is quite damaging. Like I don't think it restores or gets back to its original growth form that quickly as you would think.
Yeah, I see them a lot in Myers. There's one day as you're coming up Swartkop as well. You see all the footprints of everyone that came before.
But it is actually, it's like fossilized. But I think it's still a natural thing because some of these seals, you'll see later in Moltene, you'll see some seals that just go inland and they go over all these mires and they just trample the whole mire. So it's not like it's not a natural thing for mires to get squashed and I don't know. I don't even know what's the effect of squashing all the mires. It could be bad, it could be good, so we don't know. I don't think there's any studies done on that. There must have been some studies, but I'm not sure. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I'm glad you've enjoyed it so far.
Of course, yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm glad as well.
So what are you excited about? What's gonna get you excited?
I don't know. I'm excited to explore the island for sure. I'm excited to get involved in other people's work as well. That's part of, to me, that's part of exploring. That's part of everything outside of work. Like I'm excited about the work, don't get me wrong, like, but I'm excited to make the most of the opportunity. Let's put it that way. So it's like, where's the work? It's great as well, and there's opportunity, quote unquote, in that as well. Like you said, around islands that I have to do, and stuff like that, and it's quite cool studies that we're doing and stuff like that. So it's interesting, and it's a lot to do. And I also understand that because we one person trying to do like, you know. And it's funny. I thought it was funny when we came here and we called Ecologist because I was like, wow, there's one guy doing ecology. It's quite a lot of work, you know, to do the ecology of the island for one person to do. You know, it's actually a lot of work. Anyway, but so for me, that's part of the ecology of it all is like learning what the sealers do, what the birders do, and even the different birders. Like I was speaking to Avumile last night as well, and he was talking to me about their project, and you know, everyone's sort of in the same boat there as well. Because he said, I think it's either this year or next year. You see, because their thing is only funded for 3 years.
For 3 years.
So he said after this, I think he's the last one. So he's the third person. So it's all not hanging on him, so to say, but it's like this, whatever data he can get out of this year is going to be it, you know, because they only got funding for 3 years and then they have to come back and then do their study and whatever.
Okay.
But anyway, I spoke to him and they're doing some cool stuff and everyone's doing cool stuff, you know. So I just want to know what's going on. And I'm here and this is going to be my life. It's not like I have life anywhere else right now. So I think it's important to find something to occupy your time, your mind, your curiosity. And I feel like there's enough people here and enough different disciplines, you know, and enough different types of people to try to at least learn what you can. And I think obviously again it's a balance because you have your own work and then other people need help with their work and some is just going to be for fun, let's say, you know, so try to find that in between. But yeah, I'm excited to explore the island and see how it goes. Like Also, what I'm excited about is, I think I spoke to you about this already, about like unplugging a little bit, like the getting away from people, quote unquote, which I know I'm not getting away from people, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm like I hate people,
Yeah.
but like,
Super introvert.
yeah, I'm not super introverted at all, obviously, but the quietness, man. Like, I don't like the rushing. Like, I feel like everything is like rushing. It's like you have to rush out in the morning, then you have to go sit in like 2 hours worth of traffic. You know, I know, yeah, we have to walk, but that's neither here nor there. But it's like you have to sit in 2 hours of traffic, then you have to do this, and then at this time you have this thing. So for me, I felt like, I don't know, this is also maybe part of the expectation question, is that things will be a little bit slower here, in the sense of like things just happen as they happen, and you know, there's nothing that needs to be like this, like time, like sensitive, like, oh, this needs to happen at this time, and everyone's like, you know, very on that mindset, and I'm just like, guys, calm down. Like, we'll do the work, don't get it wrong, but we don't have to be like frantic about it all the time, you know. So that's sort of my mindset. So I'm also excited about that, to try to get that. I call it they call it slow living, you know, just like take it day by day, like, you know, let's not get too intense about everything, which is also great because like some of our work is weather dependent and all of that stuff. So it's like you can wake up one morning ready to go, and then the weather is like not allowing, and you can't do any slugs or whatever because of the snow. And then the next day you might be feeling not great, and then but now the weather is good and you have to go out, and it's like, well, that's the day, you know what I mean? There's not the, I don't know, there's less noise and opinions and like, you know, societal pressures, like all of these different things that come with like being in like a city or being like, you know, around a lot of people, like all of that stuff sort of disappears in a way. I understand there's obviously its own politics here on Marion Island. That's its own, that's going to be its own thing. But then that's something you have to deal with, you know. That's a new challenge in a way, right? It's a new challenge. Like, how do I navigate this relationship?
Just to comment on that, I think you're in a unique situation, at least because that's the one cool thing being the ecologist here. We don't have like a schedule. You make your schedule, basically. While the birders and the sealers have a planned schedule that they just follow every year. It's the same thing. They do the same thing consecutively all the time. And that's like all the birders and all the sealers. And the killer whaler, of course, is the same. Well, the killer whaler has also a little bit of flexibility in the sense the person can choose when they go do a killer watch. It's not always the same in the week. So it always depends on the seal work combined with the killer work. But like for you, you wanted to be slow, you say. You wanted to
slow, like it makes it sound like I'm lazy, like I don't want to do work. It's
no,
just
I
like,
understand what you're saying.
Can the day just progress how the day progresses? Like, you not like rush things and run around like crazy.
You want it to be flexible. Like if you can just do that 3 hours and then you can take an hour off and then you can come back and do that's what you mean. I get what you're saying.
And I will work until 12 if it means I have to work until 12 if the works need to get done. But I'm chilling. Like I'm not, you know, rushing for this.
Yeah, there's no time sets. Like you have to have your slugs done by 5.
Yeah, exactly.
All of those.
Exactly,
you don't need that. Yeah, you don't need that. But that's as an ecologist, you're in that unique situation. So not everybody will have that.
I did get a sense of that chatting with everyone.
And then another thing that people do, some people, because they're away from society, they try to make themselves in a rushing, that rhythm or that, what's the word I'm looking for here, that schedule, you know, 8 to 5 job. They try to make it like that because they want to feel normal. Because a lot of people don't actually like the flexibility. They don't know how to, you know, plan and deal with it. Like if you have too much, you actually it's also a bad thing. So there needs to be a balance. That's really important, I would say.
No, definitely. Yeah, I usually just try to set or like goals for the month or like goals for the week, let's say, or even for the day. Sometimes, depending on the time of year or the time of the month, whatever. But like if I know, especially the minute when I realize something is too much for me to remember, so it's like, I don't know if you saw the other night, and I'm like, just wait, let me start making notes.
Yes,
because we were talking and it became casual, but then it's like we started talking about things that I feel like, I need to do this. It's important things. It needs to get done. Let me take out a notebook, quickly write it down. So it's not, again, I'm not like, I will remember it when I remember it. It's like, no, there's times and place where things need to get done, and we'll make sure that it gets done. But just in the overall, in the average sense, like, you know what I mean? I don't like this like very you know, it's almost like a corporate way, like productivity mindset, where it's just like, if you're sitting still, you're doing nothing. You know what I mean? And we need to juice out every single waking second of your working hours. Like, I'm just like, guys, calm down.
Calm down.
Like taking a break actually helps me do my work better. Let's say, right? But now you want to squeeze out my break, and then the work actually gets shitter because you, in your mind, you're thinking like, no, if I'm sitting idly, I'm doing nothing. But for me, I'm like, okay, no, but I'm sitting idly for maybe like 30 minutes. But then you get like, 5 hours of really good like, work out of that, after I just took my 30-minute break. Like, just calm down. Like, don't worry, the work will get done. That's what I'm saying. Just give me the or not give me, I guess I've also to set that, but give me sort of the objectives for the month or the objectives for the week. And don't worry, it'll get done. But don't tell me like, I expected by this time. I think it reminds me almost like doing a postgrad in a way, like where it's just like how I explain it. Everyone has a different experience. Everyone has different supervisors and different data and all of that stuff. But how I experienced it was very much like, okay, well, here's a deadline. The deadline is a submission date. And in between those deadlines, I'm going to give you like a date that maybe you need to send me your first draft. Yeah. Maybe a couple of meetings. A presentation about like how far your research has progressed. And whatever, but what happens in that 2 to 3 years between the start and the deadline is your own baby. Like, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and you enjoy that.
And you enjoy it, yeah. But then at the end, there's a deadline, and you submit it, and then And
then some people are lazy and they just work right before the deadline.
Before the thing, yeah.
I don't know why people. That's the other problem, making deadlines so far ahead, and you're like, oh no, it's more than enough time to finish it, more than enough, and then all of a sudden, oh damn, 6 months has passed. I've not done anything. I haven't written anything.
Yeah, that's possible.
I haven't read any papers.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's interesting.
That does happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try not to be like that. It's actively.
But you said you wanted to do a PhD.
No, I didn't want to.
You didn't want to.
No.
You didn't want to.
Well, I was thinking.
Well, it was Nicola who told me she wanted to.
I was thinking about doing a PhD, funnily enough, just before I got this Marion position. Just based on where I was, like in my career, and like I was spending a lot of time at university. I was working there for like almost 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. And everyone was like pushing, as you know. You said you got sort of similar like advice or like nudges in the direction of trying to do a PhD, and that tends to happen when you linger around academia for too long, because it seems like the next logical step. And everyone was like, you're just wasting time. Actually, you've been working here for so long. You could have done a PhD. You could have done a PhD in that time. Yeah. And I thought about it, and I was like, I didn't want to do a PhD. It wasn't like it was something I didn't want to do. It was not like a career trajectory or life trajectory that I saw anything benefiting like beyond that for me. It's like if I look at like what I wanted like in my life or what I want to achieve, like getting a PhD is not going to actually make any of those things easier to get, or like it's not going to make any benefit me in any way, right? That's why I didn't want to do it. But then, like I said, at that time, just before I got the Marion job, I was like, okay, maybe like it's time I give this thing a shot. I've been lingering around here for so long, like let's see, what's the hesitation behind it? Like, might as well, I guess if this is where my career is sort of where the road is like leading, then maybe I should just like bite the bullet kind of thing. So I spoke actually to Charlene just before. She actually offered me another job. Well, it's the same job. I was still working for her, but it's just like I'll be moved on to a different project and different, responsibilities and all of this stuff. And she offered me that, and I took it at the time. But I told her in that meeting, I was like, "Oh, it's so funny that you're offering me this now, because I was literally just about to come have a meeting with you to let you know that I finally sort of cracked, and that I'm thinking about doing a PhD." And she was like kind of excited about it, and she was like, "Okay, great." And we were just trying to workshop like what exactly the project would be, and things like that, because I was also saying like I don't just want to do anything, like because that's just another thing that happens in academia. I'm sure you see it to people with honors, masters, PhD, wherever, where it's just like sometimes it's just a project lying around and someone just wants someone to do it. Do you know what I mean? But it's not necessarily that you're
passionate about it.
So I didn't want to do. I didn't want it to be that. I didn't want it to be like, oh, we've got this like backload of like samples just sitting in the fridge. We just need someone to write this up, like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't want to do that if I'm not into it, like, you know what I mean? I don't mind the work if it means that if I was into it. But if I'm not into it, I don't want to do it just do it for the sake of doing it, and then it's like, and at the end of it, you get a PhD,
Yeah, but what I don't understand, like, why can't you just do it and not do a PhD?
Right.
Like, and you can just write the paper.
Right, exactly.
Because you're contracted by the university,
Yeah,
right?
I would do that, yeah.
So why can't they just put you just on a paper.
Yeah.
You don't need to do a PhD.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. But they always just want to make you a PhD.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably to do with funding or something.
Yeah, I think.
That's what it's about. They want you to do a PhD because they'll get more money like that. I think so.
Or they'll get money to pay you to do that. But they
Yes.
don't have money to pay you to do that if you're not going to do
If you're not going to do a PhD.
It's sort of
yes,
like that.
It's something like that, yeah.
So it's like, well, if you're going to pay you money and you're not doing a PhD, like, we'll rather have you do this work and this work, and because the work never ends. The backlog of samples never end.
Yeah, I'm bringing a lot of samples back.
Yeah,
somebody's
just-
going to have to look at it. So.
Exactly, it's just going to go on and on. So I see why they try to get these things, but I agree with you. It would be easier just to employ someone to do the stuff and just not have a PhD out of it.
Yeah.
I guess university is in the business of, I don't know, degrees and things, so they have to push out qualified people at the end of it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I had a similar thing. I also just wanted to write up the stuff I did here and just get a paper out of it. I don't want to do a PhD, so I'm on the same wavelength as you. Yeah, I'm not interested. I agree with you. I don't feel like it will benefit me in where I want to go one day, you know. So yeah, but I want to ask you because it's weird for me. Where the hell did you get the interest for the kalimba? How did that just explode? Would you say?
So I did my master's on spinning tails. That's why probably, and.
But did you decide you're gonna do that master's?
So I'm gonna try to keep it brief. So I was working. This is just after undergrad. In fact, no, I was still in undergrad technically at the time. And we must have a 4-year honors equivalent degree, right?
Yes.
So I was technically repeating a module, a 6-month module in second semester, right? So I didn't come to campus the first semester. I lived in Egypt for a couple of months, and I was living there. I was studying Arabic because I had the semester off basically, and I just had this freaking one module. I couldn't graduate, by the way. This is the one module I needed to graduate, right? And I had to basically wait a whole year just to write this module. Second semester comes around, I come back to Stellenbosch, and I saw this ad for a lab assistant in the entomology lab there by Prof. Malan. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
So they were working on entomopathogenic nematodes. So a friend of mine just sent me a screenshot of someone posted on their WhatsApp story looking for so and so. So I applied for it because I was like, well, I come to campus every day for one module, you know what I mean? In fact, I actually took a second module. Just for shits and giggles. I was in my fourth year, was repeating a fourth year module. I took a third year module that I never took, but they recently introduced that year, and I was might as well just take it, you know. I need
wanted to learn
something new.
It's nice.
So I took that module. Anyway, I applied for this position there, and I worked there for that year, for the remaining of that year. And it was a full-time job actually. How they explained it was it's a full-time job, but we allow you to go off on those 2 periods where you now need to go to your class. You can go to class, but you have to come back here afterwards. Or if you have a prac or whatever, you go to your prac and you have to come here afterwards, kind of thing. But other than that, it's a full-time job, so to say. So that was the vibe. And I was just doing lab shit, counting nematodes, creating bacteria cultures, They were trying to mass produce entomopathogenic nematodes. So we were
projects.
Yes, there was a couple of projects. There was a master's. So Prof. Malan is sort of the mastermind or brainchild behind this thing, I believe. Let me not say, I'm not sure about the whole history behind all the projects, but as far as I understand, she sort of was running that lab.
It's
and
for the pest management stuff, right?
Yeah. So they were using nematodes as pest control, basically.
Pest control, yes.
And so she had a master's student at the time and a PhD student. And I think the PhD student went on further to study. I don't know, the master's student, I think she went to go work somewhere else. So she had a bunch of students coming through there, and they were all working on the different steps, right? So the idea is to create the formulation of a stabilized formulation for entomopathogenic nematodes that can be shelf stable and that they can distribute to farmers. And it's also using a indigenous South African nematode, right? Because there is a product that exists, I think, from the UK and maybe some other parts of the world, I'm not sure, but it's not a South African nematode that they use. It's a nematode from the UK or whatever. So we found one here in South Africa, and they tried to essentially do the same thing, but obviously this is a long process. You need to understand what are they eating, what are the conditions they like to grow in, because we try to mass culture them, and then storage, how do we store them, what's the best formulation. Anyway, so I was working there in those things. Not me myself, I was just lab assisting. Anyway, I met this guy called Matthew Addison. And I was helping someone with field work one day in Ceres. We went to drive out for some slugs.
Is that Pia
Pierre's
Edison's
husband. Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct. So we were just chatting on our drive to Sirius, and we were having great chats. Like we were just chatting about everything, entomology related, agriculture related, like whatever. Just as we're driving, it's a great way to drive.
Yeah,
it's a long drive, but
it's a
also
long
great
drive.
because we walked driving past all these farms and things like that. So
Of course,
a lot of
yeah.
conversation was sort of coming up, and we drove back and whatever. And then I think it was like the next day or sometime shortly after, he came to me and he was like, basically just saying like, you know, we had such a good chat and stuff like that, and like that I should like do my masters, like, you know, that I should come back, and I, you know, he was sort of, I don't know what's the word, like encouraging me,
Yeah,
saying
because
that
he thought obviously you have the capability of doing
kind of thing,
a
yeah,
good
yeah.
masters,
And he was like, and if you need like, you know, funding, or like if you need to figure it like out how you're gonna make this work, whatever, just like come talk to me, whatever. Anyway, year goes by, and eventually I get 2 offers on the table. I get this offer from my supervisor at the time, my boss, on nematodes, and then Prof. Malan, to continue with, but not with entomopathogenic nematodes, but someone else was working on slug nematodes. So she just did a PhD on slug nematodes, and she sort of like just started the work on it. So it's great. We have like a PhD worth of like information that like just set the groundwork on this stuff. So it's like a perfect place for me to like continue from. And she was like, she wants me to do the slug nematodes. So there was that option, and then there was now this option with Charlene, which was Matthew's option.
Okay, so it's
So when he came to me, he was like, look, the thing is, like, I've got funding, I've got a project, I've got a supervisor, everything. I just need someone to like do this project. Like, he doesn't have, you can't like give funding for like whatever kind of project you're looking for, but like for this particular project, this is what he can give me. So I had these 2, and I think I ruminated on it for like maybe 2 weeks or something, because I was like, shit, I don't know which one I want to do. I know I want to do a master's, I didn't know which one. And interestingly, the one thing that, so I had a meeting with Charlene, and Matthew, and they explained the project and stuff like that. And what had happened, if I remember correctly, is that this was actually Charlene's postdoc project. So that's why the whole thing was written up. The project was written up, the proposal was there, the funding was there, everything like that. But then Charlene just started her lecturing, or her position at UCT that year. So she couldn't now do this project. So that's why we had all this funding and stuff, but no one to do the project. But anyway, long story short, coming to the end here, is that Matthew said to me something along the lines of, you know, when the nematodes, like something along the lines of like the nematodes, you're going to be sitting in the corner of the lab busy counting your nematodes. At least with this work, you'll like be outside, you'll be making a lot of connections with different people, you'll be like, you know, it's a bit more collaborative, and like, you know, I'm gonna have to, there's a lot more stakeholders involved in that way, right? Yes. It's not just like this lab work where you're sitting in the corner like just getting data. It's like you actually have to go do field work, you have to speak to farm managers and like all this other things. And that was the thing that he said that really was like, yeah, I think, you know, this is the one instead of that one. So I took it, not knowing too much, and then COVID started. That was COVID the year I started in COVID. And I had to learn like all about fucking springtails. It was so crazy. Like,
but what was the project about?
So we were looking at the influence of mulch, organic mulch, on the springtail assemblages. So on their diversity and their abundance. Like in different habitats, or no, in the orchard, in the apple orchard. Yeah. So we looked at. And we did a seasonal, so we did 3 seasons. We wanted to do 4, but we missed the March most now because of COVID. But we got 3 seasons worth of data. Yes. So we also have the seasonal trend basically, and we did it in the berm. They call it the bunkie. The bunkie, where they plant the actual tree. Okay. And then we did it in the work row, like right next to it. So that's we took 2 samples on the same, like one sample, or like the same area. So it's like if we took 1 sample here in the berm and then 1 sample here in the row, so we can compare also, you know, because the mulch is only applied on the berm. Exactly. So it's not applied in the row. No, it's not. And also the row gets a lot more disturbance and all of these things. So, so anyway, we looked at that, and yeah, the seasonal effect of that stuff. And obviously these springtails are very important for mulch, like to bring nutrients back into the soil. Yeah, so they, very low down on the food web, you know, they decomposers, they detritivores, they can be fungivores, bacteriivores. Can some be predators as well? I don't know about predators, but like accidentally feed on each other. Probably, yeah. They can do like that. Yeah. I've seen them eat each other, but usually dead. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I know they can be prey for other predators. A lot of other things eat them. Yes. But I'm not sure if they're actually active predators. I'll double check on that. Probably not. Not that I know of from the top of my head. Because only a few of them even eat on, like in agricultural, like when we talk about the agricultural pests, there's very few that actually eat on living plants. So they'll eat like leaves, or like they'll live in the canopy of the plants, like in the
Yes.
leaves and stuff. Where most of them live in the soil, where it's a bit more moist. And so there's very few that's considered of academic, what do you call it? Economical importance, quote unquote,
Okay.
is what they call them. That no, they don't really cause damage.
They don't cause damage.
No.
So do they help with anything, with the soil, nutrients?
Yeah,
wise?
the nutrients recyclers. So that's the main thing I would say. They can tend to be I'd say like pioneers of landscapes. You know, that's why always when you show me up those rocky places where there was like lava, I was like, you'll find Columbia there, you'll find mites there. That's what's living there right now. It's mosses,
that's what you
mites, and
find.
springtails. Yeah. But the other
That's
stuff
true.
needs some time to get
Then that
there.
makes actually sense why Marion has like, I think it's 15 species, but 2 are invasive. Columbia here on the island actually. Which is
Yeah,
cool.
so they're just chowing away, doing their thing, creating soil basically, which takes a long time to make.
Long time.
So it's a long process. So mostly nutrients recyclers, and some people call them in the hobbying world. People use them in like terrariums and vivariums.
Oh,
and stuff
yeah,
like that,
yeah,
because they
yeah.
call them the cleanup crew.
The
you know,
cleanup
they
crew.
recycle the nutrients and stuff,
That's
so the
cool.
waste doesn't accumulate and stuff. They're also spore dispersers of fungi and stuff like that. They also influence like the soil microstructure, so they poop. Basically, you can imagine like all these tiny little poops stacking on top of each other, so it can help sort of influence that. And there's different, obviously, we call them ecomorphological life forms, if I'm getting this correctly. So it depends on where they live in the soil profile. So you get some that live much deeper, they're much smaller, and they lack pigment, like eye.
They won't have silly.
Yeah.
No.
Like
Eyes.
eyes, pigment, and usually lack of fur as well. Usually, especially the small ones. And then you get the ones that live further up in the soil profile, up into the canopy as well. Like I said, you get some that.
No,
live
but you need to
actually in the
explain
canopy.
what's a furca first. What is a
A
furca?
furca is the fork-like jumping organ located ventrally on the fourth abdominal segment, something
Yes.
like that.
It's basically a tail.
It's a tail, yeah. A tail that comes out of
It can
the
jump.
abdomen that helps him spring, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where
So-
the name comes from.
That's where the name
Okay.
comes from, springtails.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
No, it's fine. But yeah, so it's furca. Then the larger ones live in the canopy and above ground. And they're usually a bit more brightly colored, larger, have a furca, have eyes, and things like that.
Yeah,
So
that's like the one
really
invasive
depends.
here that I can't pronounce its name, but it's that big one we found at Kildalkey. Can you remember? The one Naomi wanted.
Oh, right.
That one is massive.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
also
yeah.
just on vegetation.
I know, I can't remember the name. I know what one you're talking about.
Yes.
I thought it was the other one. I was surprised that thing was used. You
It's
can see it with your
massive.
eye, like, and
Yeah,
it's
you
so
can
dark
see
as
it
well.
with your eye.
Yeah.
Usually Columbia is tiny.
Very, very tiny.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I got into that for my masters. I guess going back to your question of how I got into it
Yes.
is that's how I got into it, and I think I just was taken aback by it because it was just very interesting. It was something I didn't really know about. We technically taxonomically insects, Columbia are not insects, so we didn't actually learn much about Columbia during entomology. Like I remember very brief overview.
Yes,
of
I can
springtails.
also remember the brief one. Yes.
And I think I just became passionate about it. I think anyone becomes like, you find your niche, you know what I mean? And then it's like one of those things where it's like so much work needs to be done and not enough people are working on this thing, and like they're so cool and so unappreciated, like all of these things, you know, you sort of just find a niche. Everyone sort of finds their little thing that they get into. So springtails was for me as well, this like little niche that I thought was very interesting. And then like being surrounded by other entomologists, I was just like, oh, these guys are like, you know how I just said we had this like brief overview of springtails, and then I'll like listen to some people talk about them. That's entomologists, right? And they're studying springtails, but they usually, this is what annoys me, they tack it on to their study as like a bonus, but they're not actually giving any information. So like for example, they'll be like, oh, we're assessing say they're doing a survey or assessing impacts of something, let's say, and they're like, we're going to look at ants, we're going to look at lepidopterans, we're going to look at what else do they look at? Beetles, let's say.
Yeah,
And
like
they'll
all
be
the
like-
decomposers.
yeah, and then they'll be like, and then springtails, right?
Yeah.
And then for ants and beetles and lepidopterans, it's like species name. Like everything has a species. They identify it. They give you the amount and whatever.
Yes.
And then when it comes to Columbia, they just say Columbia, and they just give you a total count. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that? That's
Yes.
like saying insects Like we found 1,000 insects. Okay, 1,000 of what insect? Do you know what I mean? You know,
it doesn't give
doing
you
what? It
anything.
doesn't give me anything.
Yeah.
So that annoyed me as well about like I think again like talking about this niche thing. So I got like so upset about stuff like that where I'm just like, guys, you're not actually moving the field forward. Actually, this is why we don't have the starters. Like people spending time and effort into doing this stuff, but they're not doing it properly because they lump Kalembla as just like this one thing. Like they're all just doing the same thing. Like they're all the same,
But they're not.
And you're not actually moving any more interesting
Just
information
because it's
forward.
too much effort. And you
Yeah,
can't
but then why
focus.
do it? But why do it? That's my thing. Like
Yeah, you
why?
can just
why
leave it
add
out then.
Just leave it out.
Just
Leave it out. You save your
yeah.
time. You save
Or
yourself
leave
time.
it for someone else to do.
Yeah. So anyway, shit like that also got under my skin, and then
Yeah.
that made me more passionate. You know what I mean? Because it's like we need to do this work properly. You know, we need to ID this stuff
Yeah.
or whatever. But sometimes I don't say I regret it, but I guess everything has its challenges. Like every job or any profession or things like that. But then sometimes it's like, oh man, Kalembla is just so difficult. Like why did I decide to do this one, man? Like
Everything that's tiny is difficult.
That's the
Fungi
thing.
as well.
Yeah,
It's also a
anything that's so
difficult
small.
field to go into. Then
How about you? How did you get into your
my master?
your beetles?
My beetles. Basically, I had a passion for the forest from
Oh yeah, you said
from
that.
these
Yeah.
tiny because I always enjoyed when we went to Nice now. I saw the forest and the stories of Talie en Matthea, Kringe in die Bos, and Moerbei Bos, all those books. And I was always fascinated by the elephants that roam in the forest. But anyway, to get back to the shuttle border, I basically told my supervisor at the time, Francois, that I will not do a master's if I can't get funding. You know, it's not going to be possible for me. I need to get funding. So at that time, the shuttle border became a thing in George and Knysna actually, and it was a thing in it was quite early on still in Joburg and Pretoria. So it was only there at that time when I started, which was when I heard about it was 2018, end of 2018. Then obviously I told Francois, okay, this sounds interesting, because he was like telling me this project, we can look at the shuttle border, But I told him, I really want to work in the forest because I'm passionate about that. But then he said, okay, but it might be can actually work out because he's heard of some cases now in George and Nice now. Maybe we should go check it out. Because usually the shuttle border goes for ornamental trees, in the suburbs, but we don't know if it can move on to indigenous trees. And then I was like, okay, that sounds great. Let's do this, because you can get funding from FABI at that time. And then the second year I actually got a departmental bursary, but the first year I was funded by FABI. So you got that. And then at the start of my masters, I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm not really that interested in these small beetles, because I know fuck all about them. But then later on, as it grew on me, I was like, this is becoming super interesting, because then you later learn there's like thousands of ambrosia and bark beetles in the world. Like it's one of the most diverse group, the tribe. Where's the tribe again? I can't even remember now. I haven't done bark beetles in a long while now. But yeah, there's just a lot of them. And they're also in the weevil family, Circulaonidae actually. And then they're in a separate tribe. That's which name I can't remember now. But they're one of the most diverse stuff, because they bore into wood. The ambrosia beetles basically farm, and the bark beetles farm a fungus. So they have this symbiotic fungus. And every time I just explain it to someone, then you realize, fuck, this is interesting, because each species has a different fungus that co-evolved. With, how weird is that?
Yeah.
That's amazing, actually. And then the impacts it has on the tree, and then how that tree can adapt to the beetles, not die. And then you have some trees that just can't handle an attack and just stress and, go through a lot of crap and bleed, gum bleed, and xylem, your leaves, they call it, what do you call it again? A dieback of the branches and all of that. So yeah, it's very interesting how that all, interacts. I'm really interested in the interaction between things. That's what fascinates me.
Me too.
And like you said, you can't just say that's that and that, or you can't put all the bark and ambrosia beetles into one category like the Calembala now and say this is an impact. It's not the same, because some of them are polyphagous, some of them have only a one host plant, some of them have two, some of them have three, and we don't know. It's one of the, I don't think anybody is an expert in South Africa. There's not one person who can ID ambrosia or bark beetles in South Africa.
Damn.
So that's also a niche that needs to be filled. Like, you have some, there's some written...
It's funny that you mentioned this about beetles, because I thought that would be like a more charismatic group, you know, so there's like more interest in beetles side of things.
Yeah, so the actual reason is wasn't that interested in the beetles actually. I was more interested in the trees, because I love trees, and obviously these other beetles attack trees. So then, because I learned all the trees and the host plants, you need to learn the host plants, and then you come back to the beetles, and then later on I found like indigenous beetles attacking. Like I wanted to do a chapter on that actually, but then I also got hit by COVID in 2020, so I couldn't, and I wanted to finish, because fuck it, I don't want it to take another year. Screw that shit.
I took another year.
Yeah, I didn't want to, so I wanted to finish, so I just finished it and made like it was like a carbon estimated thing for my second data chapter, which was not...
So what was your first data chapter?
It's monitoring of the shuttleborne and plots in different places in the forest, like all over the Southern Cape. So that's what makes it so fun, because we had to drive around and go to a lot of plots. Some of them were, well, not all of them, but most of them were close to where people are. Obviously, where we want to monitor the spread, right? So you're not gonna have some controls deep in the forest, and that's about it. And then there's usually at places where people can bring in wood, contaminate or bring in the shuttleborne.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a nice masters. Actually, I enjoyed it a lot. I learned a lot. But like you said, you don't just learn about your own project while you're doing a master's, or while you're working in a lab. You actually learn a lot about other people's stuff, and I think that's more important.
Well, that's what I was enjoying about the work I was doing before I got here with Charlene's lab, is that I was involved. I said, the great part about the work is that I'm involved with everyone's project, but none of the stress is mine. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so it's like,
yes.
I just get the data. I get to go out in the field, I get the data, and I give it to you now. Now it's your stress.
Now
you
it's
know
your
what I mean?
stress.
Now it's not my stress anymore. So like, in that way, is what I enjoyed. So I enjoy being around academia. I just don't want to be an academic, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But, because, I feel like you learn a lot, you know, and you constantly get this, like, door of people that's coming in and leaving, which, I mean, it's not a good or bad thing, it's just a matter of fact. But like, you know, and someone's starting, someone's finishing, and someone's starting a new project, and someone's doing something that was a long-term project or something, you know, like all of these things that's just constantly like new information, and you get to learn a lot more. That's why now I feel more confident, like, because before, I mean, so my background is coming from horticulture, then into entomology, and now doing what? Ecology? Question mark? What is this work really? I don't know. But you know,
What is entomology?
Yeah, it's entomology / ecology. I don't know.
Slash ecology.
/ ecology / botany.
Yeah.
Whatever
It's
ology,
like
but
ology.
some ology.
A lot of ologies.
I feel more confident now because I worked in that lab for so long. So it's like, at first I just thought like, oh, all I knew was agriculture, and then my entomology knowledge is like, the extent of it is like some like basic taxonomy, which we learned in 4th year, and like the conservation practices and all of that.
It's
kind
not
of stuff.
enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
And then my specific information on springtails, like that's all I felt comfortable with, right? So if anyone spoke about a beetle, I'd be like, I know what's a beetle, but I can't like, you know,
Yeah,
really
you
go
can't
deeper than that
go
because I don't know too
deeper than
much,
that,
you know. But now I feel a bit more confident because you're just surrounded by so many different people and you get all this different information that comes in. So I feel more like confident in the sense of like, oh, I can say I'm a soil ecologist, or I can say like I'm an ecologist or an entomologist, because I do know a bit more. Even though my information just in terms of books, like, well, I say books in terms of like theory, like your academic background, so to say, like, you know, you studied this and then you studied that and then you studied that. But I don't think that, like, at first I was like very worried, like I was like, oh no, I can't say anything. I have this very limited information that I have. I can talk about springtails in agricultural systems in South Africa. That's it. I can't speak to you about anything else. You know, that's my level of my expertise. But now,
Yeah,
So,
but you're knowledgeable. You can speak about other stuff.
no,
Obviously,
yeah, but I don't know. I always
you-
just worry when someone asks you a question.
Mm.
Maybe this is my own thing, but when someone asks you a question, I don't like speaking beyond my scope of
That's
like
good,
surety.
actually.
You know what I mean? And I'm very usually, even in casual conversation like this, I
Mm.
will be very clear about like allegedly this and so the case, or like Elmar said that
Yeah.
this and this, or I'm very like clear, or I think so and so and so. I will never just like say, I never just talk like I know something unless I do
But that's
feel
good. You
confident.
shouldn't.
That I know something.
I feel that's a good quality that you have because a lot of people just say stuff and think it's the truth.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't even do their research about it.
Yeah.
So
That's why I'm open to like being told that I'm wrong. Because I'm like, oh, okay, great. I'm just saying that this is how I found out about this. And if you can, stand on your ground and show me
Yes.
your proof and be like, oh, okay,
I
I
love
agree
it
with
when
you.
people tell me I'm wrong because
Yeah.
okay, cool. Now tell me why.
Why? Yeah. Exactly.
Let's figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I love learning. That's the whole point
Yeah,
why I'm
it
having
is
this
that.
conversation with you
Yeah.
because I want to learn from other people and hear what they have to say. Because
Mm.
everybody, you're saying your expertise is in soil ecology basically, but I think you have more expertise than that probably that you're unaware of because you think you're so your sole focus is on that, but on the way you learn new
Yeah,
things
yeah,
as
yeah,
you
yeah.
go. So
I agree. I
like
have a very weird combination of skills and experience and expertise, I would say. The way I
Yeah.
ended up here is so interesting.
I think you would have enjoyed my position because I did a lot of soil course.
Circles in my baby, I'm telling
Yeah,
you. I
but
just like watch them.
I don't
grow.
understand why they didn't make you go on with it. Like, you could have done the months for the McClelland that I didn't do because I did it bi-monthly.
The index wrapping.
No, it's the other one.
Oh,
I
the
did
soil course,
soil
the
course.
McClelland soil
Yeah.
course.
'Cause it would have, then we had more data.
Mm.
It's probably not necessary. We have a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's a
But
lot.
more is probably always better. And if you can do it, why not? But anyway.
I have this like strong urge to survey everything, like not just here, like this is everywhere. Like even in South Africa, I was just like, we need to survey all the springtails in South Africa. Like I just have this like urge to want to know like
Yes.
what is everything that's out there, and I sort of feel that same thing here with Marion. It's like I just want to survey everything. I want to go take course there. I want to go down to the beach. I just want to know like what is here, what it is. Because I don't know, with insects and invertebrates, plants a bit different probably, but it's so variable, Like we had this conversation before. It's like so specific. Like you take a core there, and then there's something different on that side of the island that you wouldn't have caught because your work is like only here, in this very particular habitat. And so yeah, like I said, like you never really get an extensive survey of like
Yes.
really what's on a place, and you think, oh, there's only so many.
It's just here, there. Okay, we're back. What did we say?
Surveying the
Surveying.
place.
You
think that you're like, oh, there's only so many species here or whatever, and then you just look a little bit deeper. But I think we know pretty much a lot about Marion.
Yeah,
Actually, it's pretty stable in the sense of like there's not much going on here, like diversity wise. I don't think It's also where it is and how young the island is as well, relatively speaking. The distance the island is
How
from like
cold it
mainlands
is.
and things.
Yeah.
So all of those.
I think there's still a lot of stuff you can figure out in the ocean.
Mm.
I don't think there's a lot of sampling been done there, like for plankton and stuff. I think they did a lot of sampling, but I still feel like there's a gap there. Definitely. Yeah, it'd be cool if there was a guy or a person who did some marine fish or something, or even just octopus or something. That would be cool. I don't know how you're gonna do it though. I have no idea. Because these waters are quite rough, and you're gonna have to dive there or something. I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't know a lot about marine. That's the thing. And I learned so much about killer whales now this year, and I enjoyed it so much. Like seals, everything. I loved it. You just learn so much about stuff. And I was never passionate about birds per se. Like I enjoy birds, but I didn't really try to learn names or try to understand what they do. Or since I've been here now, I'm like, you see all these life cycles, and you see their interactions and how they communicate with each other, and you're like, But all birds probably do that, but I don't always notice it.
Notice it, yeah. Well, you have the time to do
Yeah,
that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have
That's
the
the
time
great
to
part
notice
of
all of
it.
this.
I think that's also a great, like a great benefit of being in a place like this. Well, I guess if you have the right demeanor and you have the right outlook to enjoy things like that in the first place. But like it goes back to that slow thing, that slow living thing, where it's just like, I guess I have time to fucking enjoy this bird flying across and figure it out.
Just stand still. Oh, okay, cool.
And look how cute that
Some
is,
sooty.
you know? Yeah.
Nice.
So I think that's also like a great pro of like this island. It's like from what I haven't experienced it yet properly, so we'll see. We must do it again when I finish.
Yeah, that's all.
We'll do this again in a year and see.
That's the whole
changed.
point. You're gonna come back and you're gonna tell me what.
Oh yeah, what actually went down.
What actually
what's the
went
theory
down.
and then what's the practical, the reality of the
I think
situation.
it can be very interesting.
It's gonna be so funny.
Yeah.
But,
imagine you come back, you're like, oh fuck that
fuck
shit.
that
I don't
shit,
want to talk about it.
Well, then there will be a very short podcast.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
No comment.
No comment. Oh, God, funny.
Yeah, so there's like a lot to learn about yourself and about nature. A lot of things to get passionate about.
No.
Sort of the nature of the work as well. Like I said, they have to put some people here on this island. So, might
What do you think you'll miss the most? Obviously, family members, but
it's hard to say.
It's hard to say.
I do think family. I think community, like specific community.
Community is.
I was speaking to Marcello about this last night, and he was just talking about, like cultural differences, which is fine. I'm not like opposed to. We live in South Africa, obviously there's cultural differences, but it's like you miss like your people, quote unquote, right? Like where you from, like your community, your
I think
area.
we all do miss that.
So like when you come here, and then it's like, which is a nice thing. Also, this is what I told him again. It's like, well, the nice thing is that everyone actually from different places of South Africa, like, and there's so much difference from like someone who's from Limpopo to from someone who's from Cape Town. Like culturally, there's like a big difference. So sometimes we say stuff and they don't even, or they say stuff and I don't even understand what they're saying, and we think we're from the same country, but it's like we're talking about completely different, points of reference and things like this. So anyway, so that's also the interesting bit, is I guess you get to experience a lot more, right, with a very short, very small place. But then when it comes to that particular, like, but now, like, my community, or, like, my friends, or, like, my kind of people, I think that'll probably be a little bit. But I can't say right now. I can't see any big things. Like, obviously the food will be a thing, and stuff like that. But nothing that I feel like is enough to, like, warrant me saying, I'm gonna fucking die without this thing,
I was the same. Like, you get used to the food, Like, I'm not even craving food. I'll be honest with you. It's not like a big deal for me. The big deal for me is rather to just get back and start going and doing something new again, and just sorting out some mess that happened. What are they saying? Oh, Dr. Lee. Yeah, there's a lot of interruptions here, but whatever. Doesn't matter.
Marion base.
Marion base, yeah. What did I say now?
Sorting out shit at home. And...
Oh yeah, there's all that shit that you need to do when you get back. And then from there, I'm just very excited to go back, because I felt like this year just made me stronger in a way. Made me realize I love exercise as well. Because before I came, I didn't exercise that much. But I realized I actually like to have a rhythm, you walk and then you can come back, and in your rest days when I'm doing sorting in the lab, I'll go to the gym and do some pull-ups or do some push-ups. It's nice to have a balance like that, and it just puts you in a, I don't know, it's like endorphin release or something. Like, it just makes you happier. Instead of like a lot of people, I was like that at the start, I would say. Like, I usually in my rest days I would sort and I would just go lie down on the bed and watch a movie, or I don't know, like play a computer game or something. But then you feel like cuck. You feel like it doesn't release the same thing. But then when I exercise and then I go and relax, then it's like, I feel like it's been a successful day,
Right, I agree.
If there's like a nice balance to it. So that's, I can give you some advice there. Try to make a nice balance of each day, then you'll be fine. Then the year will go by fast and it'll be easy. Like, I think that's the problem with most people who struggle here. Like, oh, I want to go home and I've had enough. They don't make a good balance. They like sleep too much, or they overwork, or they, they have a good balance, I would say.
No, definitely try. It's something I'm trying to be conscientious of as well from my side. Because it's easy to fall into that, like you say, just like now you just like loaf around and like, and then once you get into that mindset, also it's easy to like stick there. And now you're just like just waiting for the ship to come back or whatever. But it's like you said when I asked you what did you learn about the island, you said seize the day, right? It's one of the first things you told me.
Yeah.
So I feel very much about that as well. And yeah, I feel like I felt that as well when I got here. Again, thanks to like you and the Round Island and all the experience I had outside and stuff. It just set a good tone. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to explain it. Like just the experience I've had now during takeover sets like a great starting like point. You know what I mean? It's like just left on a good tone note where I'm just like like it doesn't feel overwhelming, doesn't feel challenging, and I feel like I'm in the right mindset. I feel like I'm excited about doing things. I want to go explore. I want to be outside. I want to get my work done. I want to like, be enthusiastic. You know what I mean? So I feel like it left me on that point. Like we'll see. Like I said, in a year, but for now, we're doing great. And I also feel that way sometimes when you lounge around a little bit and you think you're chilling. And I told you this. I play hard. I know I work hard and I don't party hard. I just chill. But
you work hard, you chill hard.
And chill hard, yeah. But my chill, is different to maybe someone else's chill. Like, depends. Like sometimes chilling is maybe just watching a movie. That's like what it calls for that day. It's watching a movie and just like yawning and then going to bed and being like, done. I'm gone for the day. But like, I was telling Heinrich, for example, like, yesterday when I just went for a walk to Ship's Cove, which was much more of a mission than I thought it was going to be, because again I got lost and I was just doing my own thing and whatever, and then I said by the time I was like, no, sorry, not Heinrich, sorry, I told Andy this, doesn't really matter, but I said and then coming back I saw the path and I got back so quickly. I was like, I remember this being so much easier, like why is it taking me so long? But it's because I was off the path, just going up and down.
Did you take the GPS with?
I did take the GPS with, but I thought I was cool, I thought I was like, nah man, like I'm just gonna cross through here and like I'm just gonna go over this hill and like on the other side of the hill I'll be able to see the beach and then from there I'll like make my move, so I wasn't like really paying attention to it, you know what I mean? But then the more I like walked, the more I was like, why am I so like tired? But it's because like I said, I was like going that's up and down kind of thing instead of just sticking on the path. Anyway, all this to say is I got there, I got a nice view of the beach. I didn't go all the way down to the beach, which was fine because it wouldn't have worked out in my favor. I didn't want to eat there by the penguins anyway, so it sort of worked out in my favor. I just stood just before the beach, like just before you go down by the beach. I went down to like one of the cliffs, not really a cliff, but one of the slopes, and I just sat there. And then to the left was Ship's Cove Beach, like in the view.
Okay.
So it was like a background, like it was Ship's Cove, and it was like those big boulders that stand out there, and then Prince Edward Island, like also
nice.
So I just sat there, had a quote unquote picnic with some dried fruits and I think I brought a warm drink or something, probably like hot chocolate or something. So I had some dried fruit. And I just took in the moment, and then came back. And for me that was chill. That was a chill, and for me it was like a 5-in-1. I got to chill, I got exercise, I got fresh air, I got to be away from base. I feel like I did something for the day, you know what I mean? Instead of just sitting idly by waiting for something to happen, because I was supposed to go out with Naomi later in the afternoon. So I was like, instead of waiting, I was like, I've got like 3 hours, like what can I do in the 3 hours? I can just literally Ship's Cove is just down here. Like what's it gonna cost me to just go down, have a chill day and then come back, But anyway, point is, going back to it, is that I'm quite keen also to be out there, and that is also my version of like chilling. You know what I mean? It's actually just having a good time out there. There's some people that want to exert themselves necessarily, but I don't mind like work, like the walking or the hiking. Just have to pace myself. I'm not on your level, but I'll get there eventually.
You'll get there. So. Yeah, there's a lot to see here. I also did that sometimes. Just walked out and just went to chill somewhere, or just sat and took it in. Yeah, I did it a lot around base. But you think you can do it a lot, but you don't always have the time. And then when you come back, you're tired, and you're like, meh. But it's good to do that, because the base can become really toxic in a way. Like I don't know if it's the air, if it's
the ventilation system.
The ventilation, I don't know what it is. You can't fucking open a window, which is awful. I would feel it just makes you like bleh. You feel bleh. during the year. So
the window thing.
so I have had a humidifier. You can probably get one. That helps, but like I don't know. It's just like this muffy,
Stuffy,
moldy feeling in
Yeah,
base.
yeah.
So you have to get out. And I'm usually, when I'm 2 days or 3 days at base, I just feel that. Like I feel like moldy. I feel like I've been lying in the mold the whole day. And like I'm becoming something that I don't want to be.
Yeah. Sucks you deeper and deeper.
Sucks you
like you
deep
start
and-
decomposing.
Yeah, that's how you feel.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how the base personnel do it. Like stay here like the whole year and only go out like 10 times a year. Or so. I don't know how they do it. Like I would get mad. I would just blow up. It will not work for me. Not to the type of person I am. But maybe if you're that type of person, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people like gymmed every day. So they also had like a
Some
different
outlet.
schedule and agenda and stuff they wanted to do and achieve. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, you can be on Marion Island, and like I think I also told you this at the beginning when I got you, that everyone's here for a different reason. I guess everyone has their own intentions of being here. So it's like what you make of it and what you want to make of it.
Yes, most people probably come for the animals, most field workers, and for the island experience. But then you have people who just come for the money or who just come for chill.
Yeah.
For a bit of, because let's be honest, the work here is a lot more laid back than what you would get in South Africa, because you can do it on your own time. Even though some people have schedules, I still feel like you're more privileged in a way, because it's a nice work. It's not like it's a demanding work where you have
Don't
to
tell the
think.
sealers this.
Where you have to think a lot. No, I'll tell them that. They don't have to think a lot. Just think about it. You just go, you know exactly what you have to do. You check a tag, you tag a seal, you count them, you whatever. What's so difficult? Like, it's not like a thing that you have to figure out every day kind of thing. Maybe sometimes when something bad happens or... but in my opinion, I don't know, it's not that draining. Yeah, I would say, compared to other jobs. Oh, here's another interruption.
Science
I need to go then.
5 minutes. I should probably also go if you're gonna go.
Yeah, you can come with.
We are each other's PIs.
What did they say? Oh, it's me. What is it? Let's just pause here.
Yes.